We are about to take you over to the Tolomato Cemetery, and we're going to tell you one of the ghost stories that we tell on our ghost on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So you'll be able to check out this story. I'm going to show you on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So you'll be able to check out this story. I'm going to show you the cemetery. This story actually mentions a hurricane in there, and we are going through a Hurricane Ian right now here in downtown St. Augustine. Everyday water in St. Augustine. Nothing too unusual about this part. She has so much fun skipping around the puddles in this town. This really is a ghost town right now. Hardly anybody here other than the residents who stuck it out. Looks like most of the visitors have gone. I'm sure there are a few in their hotels and so forth that did stick around, but most of them have decided to get out of town. This building right over here, this is the Casa de Sueños. This was actually a funeral parlor. And in those rounded windows there, they would place the caskets there and people could pass by and pay their final respects. All right. Now there's a few people out. Live from downtown St. Augustine.
Set it down on the railing.
Okay. I think there's enough room maybe here. You want to tell it and I'll just hold it?
No, we can look and tell it. Let's go across
Okay.
the street.
Okay. We are across the street from the Tolomato Cemetery. Now there are over 1,000 documented burials in this cemetery. And this was a site of a Native American village and burial ground prior to the Menorcans using it as their burial ground when they arrived here in St. Augustine at the North Quarter. Now, back in May of 1999, there was a tour guide giving a tour over here at the Tolomato Cemetery. She was touring around some fourth graders who were up here on their class field trip. Now, those of you that have been to St. Augustine before, you know that there's not a whole lot to do for a fourth grader here in St. Augustine at night. Most of the attractions are closed up, so student ghost tours were very, very popular at that time. Now, as they approached the Tolomato Cemetery, the tour guide was telling them some history and a few stories about the Tolomato Cemetery when the children started getting hysterical. They pointed over in the corner and they were just starting to get hysterical. They saw the figure of a woman on her knees, rocking back and forth with her arms crossed like you would hold a child, okay? The tour guide kind of dismissed it and she told him, oh no, those are just some street lights and wind and the branches moving. And you feel that? A little bit of breeze, okay? There's nothing going on over there.
You know what? There is even one mom from that group that says, well, how much does she get paid to be out there? I want her job.
The tour guide just dismissed it all and went on with the story. And And they left, went on and finished the tour. And then one of the chaperones who was on that tour asked the guide, hey, would you mind taking me back over there to the Tolomato Cemetery? I've got a few things that I want to check out.
So once they made it back over here to the Tolomato Cemetery, he explained that he was a psychic and that he was getting a feeling that she, the lady on her knees, rocking, had been a nanny from the 1700s. Now, there was nothing in her arms because this child had survived. But this psychic spoke her name, Tillie, short for Matilda, he explained. This figure actually stopped rocking, turned, hesitated, and looked at them, and then went back to rocking. These sightings of Tillie continued from May until September of that year. That is when a Category 5 hurricane was predicted to barrel straight towards St. Augustine and devastate the area. But by some miracle, it stayed 150 miles out to sea.
Now, one thing I didn't mention when I was telling my part of the story was that Tillie had died during a storm while trying to protect that child. So every time that I walk by this cemetery, I like to say Tillie's name and keep her spirit alive. You may encounter some storms during your visit to St. Augustine, just like we are right now, but don't worry, for this harbor is protected. Good night, Tillie.
Good night, Tillie.
Thanks so much for joining us for this story from the Night Watchman Ghost Tour. We're going to continue on. We're going to continue on and take you over to the fort and the waterfront again so that you can see what's going on over there right now. And we can check it out as well. So here we go. Now, if you look over here, this is one of several love trees here in St. Augustine. This is a palm tree growing right up out of the middle of a live oak tree. Now, hopefully both of these trees are able to withstand the wind and rain that are coming from Hurricane Ian. This is over here at the St. Augustine love tree at Bar Harbor Cheesecake. Mojo's Barbecue over here, all closed up as well. They have gone home for the week. Hopefully be able to reopen on Friday or Saturday. Looks like most of the businesses around here planning to reopen on Saturday, depending on what happens with this storm. So we're going to take you over to the waterfront. Let's see what's going on over there. This is Spanish Street that we are crossing over right now. So most of the businesses have tied up their furniture, secured it. What's that?
There are people out and about.
Ah, there are a few people around, out checking on things. You know, we're kind of doing this also to keep an eye on the businesses down here. With all the businesses closed up, we don't want anybody sneaking into anywhere that they're not supposed to be. So St. Augustine Police Department is doing regular patrols out here. We've seen them several times already on our few outings here. I want you to see these palm trees up here. And the way the wind is just whipping them around. And we're not getting anything too serious right now. This is over here at the St. George Inn. All right, we're going to cut through the Grist Mill Plaza here. Oh yeah, wind is definitely kicking up over on this side.
You can even hear what they're saying. Somebody's pitching his voice that way so much.
She's about 6 feet away from me and couldn't even hear me. The wind is definitely really kicked up on this side. This is the fort over here. Wow. You can hear it whistling through some of the signs here. Yeah, it's whistling through the street signs and the lights up here. Now the traffic lights here at Fort Alley are off. Fortunately, there's not much traffic here in town right now, so we're just gonna make our way across. Yeah. Well, that's because they don't want anybody out walking around right now.
Come at me. Come get me, Ian.
No, we don't want Ian coming to get you. All right. So I imagine up at the top of this hill, we're really gonna feel some wind.
Yeah, the glacius is really good at covering us. Glacius.
So this was a hill that was made from all of the dirt that they dug out for the moat. So when they built this fort, prior to building this fort, they built 9 other forts on or near this site. They were all destroyed by strong storms like hurricanes, cannonballs, and fires. Well, when they built this fort, they dug out all of the dirt for the moat first and then piled it up around the fort. That created this great big hill here called the glacis. And that was designed to protect the fort, the base walls, but also if an enemy was trying to attack the fort, they had to climb up to the top of this hill. Long before they made it to the top of the hill, they'd be seen by the Spanish and shot by the cannons or by their muskets. Man, even the no-name bar is closed down. That is very unusual. They are usually the last one in town to close. But considering their location right here, facing the fort, on the water, I don't blame them. Ah, you know what? Tomorrow night, if you guys tune in, we'll come over and tell you a ghost story about the lighthouse as well. While we're looking at the lighthouse right over here. Yes. So, tune in tomorrow night and you'll be able to catch that story. That's one that we don't normally tell on the Night Watchman Ghost Tours. Yeah, the water is definitely splashing up against the seawall now. Don't see it crashing over much, but it's definitely gotten rougher than it was when we were over here a little earlier today. Okay, you want to go get in on the football game over here? Oh, it's just a photo shoot.
Well, for there being a hurricane, there's still a fair amount of people out there.
Now this is not the ocean out here. This is an inland waterway, the Matanzas River. But it's definitely got waves rocking up on it. They're coming crashing across those rocks. There's been some splashing over into the parking lot as well. We are live from St. Augustine, Florida, and showing you what's going on during Hurricane Ian as it approaches this area. It's already made landfall on the west coast of Florida, unfortunately causing quite a bit of damage over there. Tis it is.
What an experience. So over yonder we've got the Bridge of Lions. And the Bridge of Lions was installed in the 1930s, and that was a gift. So imagine no bridge. And back in the day when they were building the Castillo, they had to ferry all of the coquina blocks over across the water. Imagine how the rocky the waters would have been back then.
Wow. I don't want to go paddleboarding out in that water right now.
Oh, you guys have like next to
We'll head to the Bahamas next. I would say that this is the spot that we've seen the most people, is over here at the fort. Cars are still crossing the Villano Bridge as well, so that bridge right now is still open. I would not encourage you going over there if you don't need to be there. All right, so that's what it looks like over here at the fort now, just a few hours later. Water has gotten rougher. The rain has not gotten any heavier. We've had a few little spurts where it got a little bit heavier, but not too much. Everything good so far in the city of St. Augustine.